Brought to you by...
Throughout our lives, we formulate who we are at our core based upon what we learn about ourselves, our family, and our interests over our formative years. That's of course why they call them the formative years, because we form ourselves during this period. We figure out who we are, what we like, and what we hope to become. However, sometimes some of us come face to face with a realization later on in life that changes everything that we think we know about ourselves, forcing us to contemplate if we are who we have always thought we were. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. Today I want to talk a little bit about an independent short film created by someone from my neck of the woods. Rhode Island filmmaker Joe Picozzi recently premiered his latest short film to the masses just before the holidays. My Kind of People tells the story of a young Italian man who receives the results of a DNA test, only to discover that he is not actually Italian, throwing his entire view of himself into disarray.
Watching my dreams turning to ashes.
This heartfelt narrative feels part coming-of-age drama clashing against a more traditional identity crisis story. Joe Picozzi presents a love letter to the well-known stereotypes of being Italian, while telling a story that both embraces those stereotypes and pokes fun at them simultaneously. Now, I want to state the obvious fact that I am not myself Italian, not even by a percentage, so I cannot relate personally to any of the following. However, I do watch a ton of movies, so I, like many others, can pick up on what Picozzi is trying to do. Throughout the film, he prominently features every major stereotype of Italian subculture that you can possibly think of, showcasing them in near comical fashion, but in a way that is almost loving and appreciative, never pushing the jokes to the point of farce. Visually, the film is presented with a beautiful elegance that felt like a film out of the early 90s. This one is layered in soft grain, as if shot on film, which for me added an extra nostalgic layer to the piece. Its color palette is warm and inviting during each scene when the family is gathered together, and we watch as some of that warmth is pulled away in scenes where Gio is beginning to spiral. The filmmaking on display here is incredibly well crafted. The cinematography by Carlos Cardona is handled with care and a courage to properly capture and deliver the intended tone of the film. He isn't afraid to shift from a more traditional family drama visual technique into a more dreamlike psychological horror style as Gio experiences nightmares that begin to peel back the layers of his feelings of insecurity and being a fraud. The performances throughout this film are incredibly well executed. Joe Picozzi cast his actual grandfather, Joe Picozzi Sr., in the role of Pop, who brings a reality to the lineage of this family dynamic. Justin Russo delivers a standout portrayal as Gio, a young man struggling with the realization that everything he knew about himself was based on false information, causing him to spiral out into a depressive and destructive state of mind. The interesting part of this film is the perspective it takes on identity. It forces a character who has always had a defined idea of who he is and where he comes from, and has let that encompass his entire persona, and it forces him to confront a new reality that he is not who he has always thought he was. In learning that he is not technically Italian by blood lineage, it forces him to begin to question everything about himself. Even being served Italian food at dinner after finding out, he immediately feels as though suddenly he doesn't belong among his own family. like he doesn't deserve to be Italian and enjoy their cuisine. In the Italian culture in America, there is so much emphasis placed on the pride of being Italian that it shatters his entire view of himself and of the world the moment he finds out the truth. There isn't a whole lot to tear down or unpack with this one, because Picozzi's message is pretty prominent and presented with such care that it's easy enough to see at face value. It's a common misconception that filmmakers need to weave these deeply complex stories that are meant to force viewers into thinking deeper about their films on repeat viewings, especially with the short film format. I think this can be unnecessary. Most people are going to watch your short film once, if that. So in my opinion, delivering something more simplistic that demonstrates your technical skill is probably a smarter play. Here I think Picozzi manages to deliver a deep narrative that urges us to think deeper about these senses of self-identity that we force upon our children or even ourselves. And I think he does so in a way that is simple enough to pick up on, without the need to go back and watch it again. Well, friends, that's gonna be all for now. This was a short one, but it's one I definitely wanted to cover here on the channel. I think Joe Picozzi is a really talented local filmmaker, who I personally can't wait to see make the jump into the feature film landscape. This film is not yet available online, but when it is, I will be sure to come back and link it down below. If you have a chance to see it, I hope you go check it out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more content, and if you really want to help support this channel, come find us on Patreon. Your support there helps this channel grow, it helps the archive grow, and gets us closer to that ultimate goal of being able to make these videos for you full time. Until next time, stay safe. Don't put too much stock in where you come from. It's not who you are. And until next time, thanks for watching.